benefit on the one hand and at what price on the other hand, and it's a balance. Now, you would think that all-cause mortality, as Peter implies, is the beginning, middle and end of it. If they're dying of anything, they're dying. But what's lurking in the background is a patient fearing an aneurysm rupture and a method that can be put in at fairly low mortality which prevents that rupture. So we've actually given ourselves almost more of a problem than we had before with EVAR2.
Okay, Jan, I think you wanted to make a question.
Yes,
or point.
I have a question, Roger. Maybe for you this question could have come from the audience. So if endovascular repair, if the stent graft does prevent rupture in EVAR2, why does it not prevent mortality?
Well, the statistician, I don't think I haven't answered that. I've asked it of the professor of statistics many, many times, and the answer it gives me is that the benefit of aneurysm-related mortality is swamped by death from other causes. And I think Janet and Louise might comment on that. Apparently, if there are respectively many deaths from other causes,
competing risks, maybe, Roger?
Any benefit from aneurysm-related mortality is lost in that.
I think there's an important issue about how long the patient's life expectancy is going to be. Because, I mean, this is one of the benefits of looking at longer-term follow-up. You get information about those with the longer life expectancy, and it would seem that if you had methods to select life expectancy, you might be able to have some sort of rational basis. But we know that we don't have methods to determine life expectancy. So it's quite a catch-22.
Yeah.
If I could provide an interpretation, at least the way I heard EVAR2 today, in all of our trials, the primary outcome was all-cause mortality, and we didn't even, I think this is true of EVAR2, that aneurysm-related mortality was not even listed as a secondary outcome, that it wasn't on the list, and the reason is because it's impossible to ascertain accurately and not equally in the two groups.
Hang on, Frank. Wait a minute there. Just to hang on. If you look at the document more carefully, yes, at the very outset, 1996, it wasn't named, but these trials have been with us for some years now, 15 years since the inception, and Simon Thompson championed aneurysm-related mortality first in the MASS trial, and the whole of the population screening and the justification for population screening rests upon a benefit in aneurysm-related mortality. I wrote a leading article, I think Janet was with me, in the British Medical Journal, and I drew attention to the fact that there was benefit in aneurysm-related mortality, but no benefit in terms of all-cause mortality, and I didn't know what that meant in terms of whether that would be, regarded as a positive trial or not. But the authors put it to it that that was positive, and Simon, he is of the opinion that aneurysm-related mortality is the relevant endpoint because it's the one you'd expect to see a change if you're doing an operation to influence death from aortic aneurysm. And he used it first in the MASS trial for screening, and having used it there, we actually then later published that we had added aneurysm-related mortality as an endpoint, so that was years and years and years ago. So that's no surprise, and that did come in. And it was argued, and it is still argued what the significance of it is. But on your second point, Frank, which I also don't accept, that you don't know what aneurysm-related mortality is, maybe you don't, but we'd had an endpoints committee which Janet, your opponent in the debate, or your colleague in the debate, I thought she was your opponent, you both seem to be opposing each other, Janet actually chaired that endpoints committee, and she'll tell you that the criteria of death in the aneurysm-related mortality was very specific, according to various death codes.
Yeah, we always had, members of the endpoints committee always had a very high suspicion that it might be aneurysm-related. We didn't want to ignore a possibility, for instance,